Welcome to the house next door
with Barbara Gillio,
and Anthony Harris,
where real estate meets reality.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the house next door with Anthony
and Barbara.
We're so excited. Me and Barbara have been planning this for maybe a couple months.
Yeah. We started one night. I texted you while I was actually watching reality TV and having
our favorite. Can we stop right there? That's our favorite.
That is our favorite. That is our inspiration.
Trash TV. Like nothing. Nothing gets better than that.
Nothing gets better than that. And you know, and honestly, that's how we met. Not really, but that's how we bonded. Is I was texting him, watching my Bravo, and having a glass of wine, and I was like, Anthony, would you be into doing a podcast? I don't know who's going to watch it. It's probably literally our moms. And like maybe my best friend, maybe, but she may
she might turn it off after how far are we into this?
She might already stopped listening by now. Exactly. And so we started talking about it, and we decided, hey, let's just talk about. We always have all these great stories. We're always talking about, oh, this happened to me in real estate. Real estate is just this labyrinth of interesting life stories that can transcend to more than just real estate. And people always ask me too, like, oh, tell me about this, tell me about that. So I'm like, no, we should just do a podcast with us just talking about it.
Yeah. And I think it goes hand in hand with our life. Like, when we live life, we're living real estate, and it's incredible. It's I was showing not too long ago, and one of my clients was like, when's the worst time that you've had showing, like the creepiest, and we'll talk about that later. Yeah, we got
a spooky episode of haunted showing.
It really is the house next door.
How did Anthony and I meet? And we kind of figured out how we came to wanting to do this podcast, but how we met is we're both at Realty Austin Compass, and we're both realtors in the outskirts of Austin. So we do real estate in Austin, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We go everywhere. But we live in small town. Some would call it Smallville.
We won't mention who said that.
We won't say who called Smithville Smallville in public, letting their California show.
So they were on the Bravo TV.
They exactly.
Selling Smallville, Texas.
Selling Smallville, Texas.
Well, I get sued for that.
Yeah. But we both live in small towns surrounding Austin. I used to live in Liberty Hill, which is another small town surrounding Austin. And I recently moved to a farmhouse on 5 acres where the internet is horrible.
Great. We already had that problem this morning while we were setting up.
Starlink went out. So there's that.
The only available internet.
Yeah. And Anthony, tell us about Bastrop. That's where you've been.
Yeah. So I was raised in Bastrop. I went to high school here, and actually how we met, we were at a Realty Austin happy hour or something. And I sat, or maybe it was a training.
It was a training, and you found out that I was moving to Bastrop or Smithville, and I was looking for a historic home, but I had found one in LaGrange. That was literally kind of a nightmare, but I was in love with it. And that's how we started talking.
Yeah. And so whenever Barbara was talking about moving to Smithville, I was like, oh, I know all about Smithville and Bastrop. And we kind of clicked over that. And through talking about Bastrop and Smithville, we found out that we were at the same brokerage probably 9 years ago. We did apartment locating. Not one of my biggest accomplishments.
It wasn't my proudest moment either. I used to sit in my bar and cry on a regular basis. I still do that, but at least I get paid more. We had similar life paths to converge where we were talking about historic homes in Smithville. Anthony's like, I will look, I know all the off-market stuff. And he did. He started sending me off-market homes and all kinds of good stuff too, because I couldn't find anything.
And let's hit on that so that's one of the keys of finding a good realtor is someone that knows the market. If you're getting an agent that doesn't know the market, then you're not getting in touch with the properties that you might have not seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. You've got Austin, and Austin's great, and you know Austin, but when you start to get into these outer areas like Smithville, Bastrop, even, LaGrange and Liberty Hill. Sometimes those are like, man, those are niche markets where you really kind of need to have lived in the area and know, because a lot of this stuff comes on the market without actually doesn't come on the market.
Hmm.
And that's how you find out about it. That's how I found out about that haunted house in Smithville.
That's for another
Oh,
episode,
that's for another
Barbara.
episode. Never mind.
We're not talking about haunted houses like the house next door.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's kind of how we bonded.
Mhm.
And we're completely different but completely the same. It's kind of a weird duo.
It is. It is. I'm
Um
much older than our young Anthony, but he enjoys hanging out with a 50-year-old lady because I'm so cool.
and the dogs. I'm sure that like some at one point the dogs will come in the picture, but
Yeah.
Barbara has these two super cute big old teddy bear dogs.
Yeah. They're Newfoundlands, and I call them Newfies because I feel like I always pronounce Newfoundland wrong. But we're doing this podcast at my farmhouse, and my big dogs want to be a part of this so badly.
When we
And
were setting up, we have this table in front of us that the computer's sitting on, and one of them jumped up on the table and slobbered all over it.
yeah, he slobbered all over it. And yeah, one is 120 pounds and one's 150 pounds. So they're like small bears in my house. So yeah, you might see them on the podcast from time to time if they overtake us, which they do.
Yeah, they might jump on us
Yeah.
and I think we're planning on bringing this podcast to YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the can I
Yeah.
talk about the other platforms?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know the rules yet. This is brand new. Like I said, we may just be, our
Talking to our moms.
Yeah, talking to our moms, and this is how they learn about how we talk about them behind their backs. No. Or people could enjoy hearing a little bit about real estate and our lives and how it's affected our lives, and
The
just
day of our lives. Ooh.
yeah, the twists and turns real estate has taken us down. And so I've been in the
Oh, I
industry
guess we should talk about that.
too.
Right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
probably should. I guess I got my license in 2014, but that feels like a long time ago.
Well, it was over a decade ago.
Oh gosh.
Well,
Yeah.
I got mine in 2015.
You got yours in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've
So
both been
now, did
doing
I produce for the first 9 years of my real estate
well.
career? I don't know, but that's
I don't know that I certainly didn't produce the first couple of years of my real estate license. And I just some people do great. I did not do great because I was coming from graphic design, being behind a computer, being kind of more of a creative. And I don't know that we ever talked about that.
no, we haven't.
Well, you didn't.
No.
Yeah, you didn't know what I did before I did this
No.
nonsense.
You know what I did, but
Yeah, yeah. Anthony was in HR, so behave yourself.
the HR people are the worst people.
I was a graphic.
If you're in HR, you know.
Yeah.
We're the life of the party.
Yes, it's true.
So you're in graphic design.
I was in graphic design, and I was, living life behind a computer, designing a bunch of marketing for like Summer on Hills, Country Club, and then also for other realtors. And then finally one day I'm like, okay, I think I should be a realtor. This would be fun if I did it for myself, right? Let's
Yeah.
market myself. And that was a disastrous 2 years of not making any money and not really even designing much. I don't know what I did get into a farming game online during that
The
time.
Farmville?
Yes,
Or was it Smallville?
it was Smallville, Farmville, and that seemed to be how I like it soothed my soul during the first 2 brutal years in real estate. But then finally, I went to apartment locating, and that's how
So you started out in real estate and then
Mhm.
went to apartment
Yes,
locating? Okay.
because my first deal was selling a mobile home.
Yeah, I remember that.
In it, we couldn't find the title for the mobile home, and it was the weirdest deal. I mean, I think it was one where it was a seller financing it, and
Mhm.
I should not have been doing
And that
that.
was your very first
Yeah, it
deal.
was my
Like,
first seller finance
you got
mobile
thrown into
home.
the fire. Like,
This is
and again, that goes back to your local real estate
Yeah.
people because,
Yeah.
like, in Bastrop, mobile homes aren't common, but we're more like, we know them better than agents from Austin or Dallas or Houston.
Yeah.
Like, we just have more concentration out. Like, you live on 5 acres,
Yeah.
like, and there's no mobile homes over here, but it's just a place, if you have acreage, it's
Yeah.
where you can put mobile homes and it's unrestricted. And,
Yeah. He's got a
um,
lot of and at the time, I mean, this is new for me living on 5 acres, but I've always lived on the outskirts of Austin, primarily because I couldn't afford Austin the way I wanted to.
you
So
wanted this big of a house,
right,
like
I
where we
wanted
had a
no.
podcast room.
Had to go to the suburbs, and especially in the beginning, but, also I just like living on the outskirts of town. It
I
was
do too. And
yeah,
like, I drive a lot
yeah,
for like a lot of my business is in North Austin and I live south of Austin.
yeah.
Um,
What I mean,
okay.
what I started with a mobile home that was seller financed. It was so much fun, and then that's when I cried in my car for the first time, and that would be the first of many times crying in my car for the next 10 years. Yes,
Now we cry at the
tell us your
bar.
story.
We go to the wine bar and now we
Yeah.
cry at the wine bar.
Yeah, and now we're just jaded. We're like, whatever,
It's just another day.
just another day of something destroying me.
Like this morning, I was talking to Barbara this weekend, and I have a deal that's just a wonky deal. And I was talking to her this morning and I was like, this deal, like it's going to blow up and it's going to be pretty ugly, but we're just taking it and we'll
Yeah,
roll with the punches.
just roll with
Um,
but yeah, tell your
was-
story. How you started? How did you get to where we met in that
at Realty
training?
Austin. Guess it's a lot. Yeah. So I got my license in 2015. My mother has had her license since 1991. So I was, and she started out in apartment locating, then transitioned to real estate in like the early
That's
2000s.
cool.
Yeah,
She
and
was an apartment locator
yeah,
too.
she did it in Dallas when we lived. So I was raised in Fort Worth, and so we moved when I was really young. But she
Yeah.
did apartment locating over there. So I got licensed when I turned 18. I had no really plans to use it, but I knew it and I knew the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Hmm.
Being raised in it, we saw 2008, 2009 whenever the housing crashed and
You were a
it
legacy.
it was
Yeah, you saw it
we saw it
unfold.
from the inside, living through that as a realtor kid,
Yeah.
that really changed our lifestyle.
Hmm.
And so when I told her I was going to get my license, she's like, "Are you sure? Do you remember 2007, 2008?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I do."
Yeah.
And I had no plans really with that. I was going to go to college. I went to Texas State, which is in San Marcos, is where I live now. So I got my license. I went to the same brokerage as her. I was there for maybe a year or two, and I found out that, it's really expensive to be a realtor.
Oh God.
Like,
Yeah.
even if you're like, especially since I wasn't producing,
Yeah.
like, it was very expensive. And so it got to a point of where it was like, I'm paying all these fees and
Yep.
Board of Realtors, MLS, all of that, just to have a license. Like, not just to
Yeah.
have a license, but just to be a realtor.
Just to be a realtor,
So,
a non-working realtor.
yes. so, so whenever, I went to school, there was these apartment locators and I live in a college town. And so I
That's
was
true.
like, well, I could go hang my license with them. And at that time I was working full time at HEB, which is a local grocery store in Texas.
HUB. Yeah.
And so I got that job when I was in high school, when I was 16 and just worked my way. They were paying for some of my school. And um, so I just used real estate as my fun money, as I called
Yeah.
it. But when you're a realtor and you're paying $1,500 a year or $2,000 a year
Yeah.
and not making anything, then it's no longer fun
That's
money.
not fun money. That's just fun debt. That's not fun debt. That's
And
just
that's
depressing debt.
yeah. As a college kid, like,
Yeah.
I don't have 2,000. Like, I'd rather go to the bar for
Yeah.
a whole month. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So that's what
That's how we got to HR folks. Yeah.
we're
The
not there
bar.
yet.
He went to the bar.
So so I was in school. I went to apartment locating. Found out pretty quickly it was not for me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of grind. It was just, and it's,
Well, yeah. You try to help people,
and they don't want to be helped.
but they don't want to be honest.
Yes.
I think that was the hard part. I always liked it when I got people who were like, "Oh, I don't have a felony. I don't have any, this,
A
that, or
rock
the other."
robber.
And then, yeah, I don't pit bull with a felony.
And I don't
A
owe the
bit,
last three apartments $1,000
yeah,
each.
I didn't break a. And then you have to run. This is when there was a stint where I was working as an on-site, and that's what that means is people would come in. I worked for a high rise downtown, and people come and lease, and I'd have to run their background checks and stuff. And everybody had a impeccable background check, right? And then it would light up like a damn Christmas tree. And I'm like, you didn't just have, like, you have 17 felonies. How did you even do that? And then they're like, well, can I just pay cash for the apartment for a year? I'm like,
And these are expensive high rises,
and
right?
they
Like a higher
were.
price point.
These
Wow.
were good felonies, let me tell you. So they
Were
did.
they for embezzling money?
Well, yeah, maybe.
So
Amongst other things. But yeah, so yeah,
it's a lot of work.
it's hard. It's
Yeah.
a hard grind, and
And mine
for
was a
not a
lot
lot
of
of money.
yeah, I
Not,
was gonna
but
say mine was a lot of college kids. And the leases are only for 8 months, 7 months, and the commission is very
yeah,
little. So
nothing.
it was a very challenging, and college kids are, especially freshmen, they're indecisive. Like,
Yeah,
they'll lease with you and then go break their lease and go to another apartment because their friends are
yeah,
going there.
yeah, and then you
Um,
don't get paid on that lease that they broke, bud.
yeah. Or
It's
they'll change their enrollment and not even go to Texas State and
yeah,
go somewhere else. It was a variety of things.
it's hard on the soul. It's hard on the
It's
soul,
hard on
and
everything.
also your bank
But
account.
oh yeah, but the one of the pluses was I got a parking permit for our
Oh,
office, and our office was right next to campus. So I would park in the morning at our office because I had a permit, and then I would just walk to school. So I didn't have to pay for parking. So
for
maybe it paid off for
that
itself.
that is actually probably a wash right there.
Then I went back to home sales and just hung my license. I thought if I could sell one house a year, it pays for my
Yeah.
license. I can just, get on with life. So I graduated college, got a degree in business management with HR concentration. And then I did that for a few years and did not.
And then the old real estate lured him back in. He heard a call and I'm gonna sell you.
Is that the haunted house we're
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sell me, Anthony. You know you want this life again.
You won't know life. So then in 2000, so I did HR for maybe 3-4 years, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It was like there was one job where I would get up at 7 in the morning, start working, and stop working at 7 p.m. And I do that now, but it's
Yeah,
different.
but it's different.
It was very mentally challenging, very exhausting. um I had tons of investigations, and it I was not enjoying it.
So were you the one being investigated?
I
No.
was not.
I want
So
to hear those stories.
So in 2023, I left my HR job, and
That's
I
when you got into real estate in
full
2023,
time.
full
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
the end of it was like November when I
What a
left
time
HR.
to get into real estate.
So
2023.
yeah, the market was crap,
Yeah.
as y'all know. Well, I assume if who's
Wow.
watching, just our parents, they
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because we complained and they had to console us during that time.
Well, my mom was complaining too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Your mom is a real. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Duh.
And so I was like, I'm going to try it out for 3 or 6 months, and I'll figure out real quick if it's going to work
Yeah.
or not. Bad market. But
But
it was
you did
also
well.
it was also a bad real HR or job market too, because I was applying, and it gets discouraging. So I was like, I'm going to go be my own boss, and I get to set my own schedule, kind of.
Yeah, and you can fire yourself
Yeah,
instead of somebody
or you
else
could fire
firing
other
you.
clients,
Yeah,
because I
you
fired a
can.
client
Yeah,
like
that's
last week. Was
yeah.
it last? So I went in end of 23 is when. So really January of 24 is whenever I went full time. A little backstory
That's
of
another great time in real estate. January 2024.
can we
Wow.
talk about 25?
Actually, January 2025, it seemed like it was gearing up to be an okay, decent.
And then we go.
And then April 2025, and we all just might as well go on vacation until.
If we had money,
Right.
where are we going? To the beach? Would one gas or wouldn't take a gas?
I don't know. We're going to go to the desert.
Well, it feels like it out there.
Yes, we are. I think we talked about, well, this podcast is coming from the farmhouse in Smithville, and we're in Smithville, Texas, which is August, right? So we're in August. So we are in the dog days of summer. This is what I would call our full winter. You don't want to go outside. You have to have your AC on. The air is thick. The air is thick.
I feel bad for my AC. I feel like it's running constantly. And I was just, no, my AC is 30, it's going on 30 years old.
She's
Like,
old.
and that's,
But no, she's not really old, but she's been working hard
yeah,
in here in
yeah.
Texas. But just to imagine, you walk outside and it like it wraps you up in a nice hot flannel sweater, and you're like breathing in hot cotton. That's what it feels like in Texas in August. So here we are. Anthony, you started during one of the hardest times, and you haven't ran away yet. So that's
No,
great.
no, I
The
have,
rest of us are just like, I've just been hanging on. Like every year I want to
well,
quit at some point, and then I'm like, oh, I can't do anything real anymore. Real estate has jaded me. It's become a part of who I am. It's not a job, it's a
it's like those text
lifestyle.
messages. We have a full price offer for your listing. Oh, do
Do
you?
you? Do you? It's become a part of me, the fabric of who I am. So it's, you have these moments of pure just sadness and devastation going, I got to do something else. This isn't going to work for me anymore. And then you have that client that comes through for you, and you help them and you serve them, and they're just so happy, and they get this wonderful home, and you feel like you've done a community service, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I do something
Well,
meaningful,
and
and
that's
that
that.
brings you back to it.
I think that's why I went into HR, because I felt the same way,
Yeah.
that HR gave me that satisfaction. But then I learned real quick that's not
That's not the
that.
satisfaction.
No, I was firing everybody every
Yeah.
week, like,
Yeah.
so it was not a fun time. And but it was that satisfaction of seeing a first time home buyer get keys that never thought they could buy a
Buy a home.
house.
Buy a home. Yeah.
Or the last year I sold a couple that they lived in their house for 30 years. It was their
Yeah.
forever home, but their kids moved to Austin and they had grandkids on the way,
Oh, so they want to be
and
close.
it was going to be their forever home. And so it's really,
And you help facilitate that.
yeah, it's really
And
those life events.
those life
And
events that we get to be a part of, we get to so close to our clients, and we
probably
get
too close sometimes.
probably, and they often become our friends. And just to help them through these major purchases and life changes, that's so meaningful. So
Yeah.
that's what gets like, what other job am I going to do where I feel like that? That I'm actually qualified to do.
And honestly, we're kind of like therapists, but
Yeah,
we're kind of better.
yeah, we are better.
At least there's
I
some
think
like
maybe
we have some.
I might not be better than a licensed therapist. I just like to think I am. Buying and
um
selling real estate is it's a wonderful thing to be a part of, even though we talk and joke about crime. And that's the point of this podcast, is
yeah,
to talk about our stories and sharing the good, the bad, the ugly,
and the reality.
and then the reality, and then it's also how it affects our lives. And maybe other realtors out there will listen to this and be like, oh God, I'm not alone, thank you.
And
And
that's kind of how we bonded.
yeah,
Was we were, I think one day we went out to lunch or something, and we're just talking about our crazy deal. And I was like, oh, you have, because Barbara's price point is very different than mine. She has a higher price point, but her volume is lower, right?
yeah. So
But you have a good
that
price
levels out.
point, and you do more. You produce more than I do. But it it made me realize that my little problems with my little deals, and I've had actually a range of like last year,
Yeah,
my,
no, you've had a lot, you've had luxury deals, so
yeah.
don't be selling yourself short. And it doesn't matter if
It's the same
it's the
problems
same
over
price.
the same
Yeah,
or all price points. It's the same
it's
problems.
the same
You have
process,
families that don't get along. You have divorces, marriages, whatever the case, or husband and wife that just can't agree on a house,
right?
like
And
you.
the money for a $200,000 house is just as meaningful to a family as the money for a $2.5
Oh
million
yeah,
house.
if
It's
not
all the
more.
same. Yeah,
Honestly, it might.
yeah, might be more.
Yeah.
So, price points aside, this journey that we're on with every client
Mhm.
and every realtor when we're in the
Oh yeah,
transaction too.
100%. And
Yeah.
people don't realize that too. Is like being a good realtor is being able to set those expectations with the other side. If I'm the
Hmm.
buyer's agent, setting
Right.
them with the listing agent, because a deal can turn real ugly real fast.
Oh yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you can't manage the process or your clients, it's
Yeah.
going to hell in a handbasket.
Well, yeah, and they trust us to get along with the other party because it's not about us. It's not about our ego. It's not our money. It's not our decision. We're there to help facilitate with the other agent so the home can close, and each each side gets what they want out of it, right? And that
Yeah.
we're there to be peacemakers in a way. Yeah, we negotiate. Yeah, we got to throw an elbow here and there, but we got to keep our egos out of it.
I was gonna say, I feel like whenever realtors bring egos into it, it
Yeah.
just taints the whole deal.
It does.
And you might
Yeah.
close, but at the end of the closing, the seller's not happy and the buyer's not happy.
No, it was and I've had so many where that has happened where I've tried my best to keep it, oh, can I just keep this peaceful? Can I shield my clients from some of this drama? And sometimes you just can't.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it could be,
Like the one right now, I have to involve my clients into the
yeah,
drama.
you do.
And
Yeah.
we have to be transparent to
Yeah.
extent we know when to share things and when not to, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's just the other agent creating, or the seller or buyer creating drama that doesn't have an effect on our client.
Yeah, it's not anything but just to add stress to their lives. And so you try to protect them from that, but sometimes you can't. And it's so disappointing when that happens because when you close, some it could have been such a fun process and
Mhm.
now they're excited like they got the great house or they got this great price point for their house, but it's all kind of soured
Mhm.
by the
Yeah.
drama, and that's something I work so hard
And I
to
feel like
protect them from, but I can't always because
I
it's
feel like
not
in
thrill night.
I feel like in real estate, it's also if the parties aren't happy, then it's not doing anybody a service.
No,
So
no. So yeah, it's all part of this process and part of this podcast.
I love how we started out about us and now we're like
We're already,
transitioning into
we're already jumping into our real estate game, right? Talking about
um
all kinds of crazy stuff.
but we're also going to talk about life.
Yeah.
I think that
We are.
our personalities are so similar together that
Hmm.
and so whenever Barbara moved to Smithville, she brought her mom from California as well.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um
she came from San Luis Obispo, California to Bastrop, fell in love with a historic home, prairie style historic home built in 1918.
oh wow.
I'm
I didn't know
obsessed
it
with
was
her
from
house.
19.
It's actually my house. She just lives there and pays the mortgage, but it's actually mine.
But you get to enjoy it.
I
I
do.
I saw
I do.
was it the other day I saw some videos of the dogs over there.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much their grandma. The dogs go hang out with their grandma and explore the old house and scratch up her beautiful restored
Oh
pine
yeah. I
floors
forgot about that.
and slobber on them. But
Oh, just
anyway.
put insult on injury.
But yes, we're going to talk about our lives because I don't know, maybe it's interesting to our mom. So we're just talking about things that happen in the world because I do find a lot of my clients and friends ask me about, so what's going on? And I'm like, oh, and then they regret that they asked me what's going on. So now they don't have to
Say,
ask me anymore. They could just like tune
tune
in.
in. I'm excited for the podcast.
I am too. And I hope that people get something out of it, even if it's chuckle. We will have some informative,
Or maybe they hate us.
yeah, maybe they'll hate us. We'll have some informative stuff too, where we talk about rates, talk about the state of the market. We talk about things you can do to maximize getting the most out of your house. So we'll sprinkle in hopefully some things of value, along with some things of absolutely no value.
In one of our goals, like the summer heat, we've talked about having guests on eventually.
Yeah,
Once
we
we
haven't
get
decided
like,
yet, but
yeah,
we're thinking guest speakers once we get a little like,
established and
yeah,
find out if people like us
if we,
because they might not.
yeah, figure out how to, get Starlink to stay linked, make sure our mics are plugged in, then we might introduce to other people.
Hey, well, I think that
This is it. This is the conclusion
so
of our
exciting.
very first podcast episode.
And you made it all the way through.
If
you're still listening,
we love you. We love you. Send us
and show
send
us
us
the
a
love.
DM.
Yeah.
You actually stayed with us this whole
And-
time.
And help us grow the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
comment,
Like,
share.
comment, share.
If you're happy. If
Tell
not,
us
then
ideas you'd like. If you have questions. Eventually, we'll get to a point where we start taking people's questions as well about real estate and things. So,
or life.
or life. Yeah, yeah.
I feel
So,
like the word of my podcast or of this podcast for me has been life.
life.
I've said life.
Should we?
If we
get a
counted how
drink?
many times I said life in the last
Ah.
30 minutes, how long have 30?
30 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
30 minutes. Well, all right, guys. We will. This is how we met. This is how we started this crazy little podcast. And thank you for
Coming to the house next door.
coming to the house next door. Stay tuned for more.
Where real estate meets reality.
Where real estate meets
You know how many times we're going to butcher that up?
Yeah, we are. We have a hard time. We can't. Yeah.
All right.
the
Well,
time.
thank y'all.
Okay.
All
Till
right.
next time.
It was nice. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yes. So please like, subscribe, comment,
Share.
follow.
Whatever it might be.
Until next time.